Hey guys, welcome back to the Trademark Sports YouTube channel. We are going to be talking all things 2025 Rugby League and the NRL in this video, specifically surrounding the signings coming into next year because there's so many teams that have strengthened, especially with their star power. So we're going to be talking about all the big signings going into 2025 and how I rate them. So in alphabetical order, guys, we're going to start with the Bulldogs and make our way all the way down to the Tigers. So we've got some pretty big ones down there, but we'll start with Tupouniua to the Bulldogs. I'm going to give this one a B, just because I'm a little bit unsure about where he's going to play. Obviously, there's also question marks about his fitness. He has had a couple of pretty big injuries over the last few years, like an ACL, that sort of thing. But I really do think that he suits the style that the NRL is going in terms of the middle forward. He's quite dynamic, but he can also sit on an edge as well. So it gives the versatility there, I suppose, for Cameron Stefano and the Bulldogs, if they wanted to look at it that way. They do have pretty strong edges in Jacob Preston and Viliame Kikau when they're both starting. And you also got, there's a fair few middles where it's sort of, they're of a similar quality, I guess, in one sense, but I suppose Tupouniua, he has come out of that Roosters system very, very good. Very, very good player for Tonga as well, and he just shows that professionalism and enthusiasm that the Bulldogs are seemingly building through their culture. So for me, Tupouniua gets a B, but again, with all these signings, they could definitely progress up to an A or also drop down throughout the season. We have yet to see them play with their new teams, obviously. Going over to the Sharkies, added Blake to the Sharks is, for me, 100% an A. The Sharks, just as a whole, look like they just need that extra big body in the middle, someone to really take it to the opposition, because I think seemingly sometimes, especially in those bigger games, obviously the spotlight is on Nicho Hynes and how he plays, but it's also very hard for a halfback to play well when their fullbacks getting dominated, which I think we have seen from time to time with the Sharkies. He's an elite level front rower, top 3 in my opinion in the competition, and it's a big scalp for any single team to get over. So adding Blake to the Sharks for me is obviously an A. Then we've got another front rower, Stefano Utuikamanu to the Storm. Now, I've also got this one as an A. There's different reasons to add Blake. While adding Blake to the Sharks is already an elite signing, I think Stefano Utuikamanu will become an elite signing for the Storm. I think he's going to follow a similar trajectory to what we've seen Eli Gutho go. So this first year, 2025, I'm not actually expecting massive things out of Stefano Utuikamanu. If we do see Stefano go to that next level straight away, awesome, great for the Storm. But I think it's going to be that second, third, fourth seasons where we really see Stefano flourish and become a regular in the Origin team. Obviously, he's been in that arena before, under Craig Bellamy and in that Storm system. Stefano, the world's his oyster. We've seen from time to time at the Tigers how good he can be. So for the Storm will definitely unlock that potential, or we will see that Stefano just wasn't up to the trials and tribulations of the NRL, I suppose. But I think Stefano in a couple of years, and Storm have really been crying out for another big body since Jesse Bromwich left. Sort of Nelson's. He is obviously a massive body, but he can't do everything by himself. So if Nelson and Stefano can create a 1-2 punch, geez, that's scary signs for the Storm. It is front row essential so far in this video, because next one is going to be James Fisher-Harris to the Warriors. Of course, this one's an A. Like Addin Blake, a top 3 premier front rower in the competition, brings over 4 years of premiership glory and success and experience to the New Zealand Warriors. He's captain of New Zealand. He's got a golden boot. There's so many things you can say about James Fisher-Harris, just in a positive light. I really hope he can keep up. He's not the most disciplined individual when he was playing for the Panthers, but I hope he can keep up. He's certainly changed a lot from when he was first in the league. So hopefully he can sort of be the club captain, set the standards, lead from the front, and not give away the silly errors and fall back into a bit of an unprofessional environment. Hopefully he can build everyone up rather than he sinks down to everyone's level, if that makes sense. I do think the Warriors, imagine if they had kept Addin Blake and James Fisher-Harris was over there. Obviously, the money probably wouldn't have worked then, but the starting front row of Mitch Barnett and James Fisher-Harris, I would hate to verse that. And it's going to be very, very tough 20-30 minutes for every other team facing the Warriors this year. Obviously, he's going to have to deal with the travel aspect, and it might take it out of him a little bit towards the end of the year, but I think James Fisher-Harris to the Warriors has to be an A. Now, next one, we're going over to the Parramatta Eels. Josh Addo-Carr to the Eels. I'm going to give this, to start with anyway, a C. We haven't seen him play his best footy over the last couple of years. His injury record's starting to stack up, and so soft tissue injuries, the hamstring strains, the calf strains, those kind of things where once they start to happen, it's very, very hard to get on top of. So his availability might become into question a little bit over the year, but think when you look at what Josh Adokar did for the Bulldogs, I feel like he's going to be playing a very similar role for the Eels, bringing in, helping to build up a strong culture, which seemingly fell off towards the end of last year because they've got a pretty good roster, the Parramatta Eels. Like, there's no real reason why they shouldn't be making the finals. Obviously, they lost Regan Campbell-Gillard, so their front row and their forward stocks aren't as strong this year. But yeah, like under Riles, like there's something definitely brewing there, and I think it's really, really good. And then another signing the Eels have made is Zach Lomax. Now this has to be an A, obviously, like New Zealand winger, Australian winger. However, will he be a winger? Obviously Zach Lomax it's a bit wishy-washy. He's come out sometimes saying, yeah, I'm playing centre, other times I'll just be where the team needs me. And I think that's the attitude he needs to have. He needs to, wherever Jason Riles sees Zach Lomax fitting, it has to be where he plays. I think he's an elite level winger. We've seen him in the centre position. Look, he hasn't played his best footy, obviously. However, in saying that, he did score 32 points, the most by St George Illawarra Dragon in history, playing centre against the Tigers, albeit, but still, 32 points. That's pretty impressive. So it's definitely there in him, and I think now he realises how good he can be, which is going to be massive for him. And it's just when you get that motivation to sort of and that fire in your belly, I think Jason Riles probably would be able to get the best out of him. It's going to be like these signings is very interesting because we don't know how Jason Riles is going to play footy. We don't know how the Parramatta Eels are going to play footy this year just yet, but certainly with these two signings, the Eels, their backline is shaping up to be one of the best in the competition if everyone is playing at their peak. And then we'll go to a former Parramatta Eels player, Isaiah Papali'i, to the Panthers. For now, I've got this as a C, but 100% this could rise up to an A. This is one of the ones where I say it's like it's a C for now, but well, halfway through the season, we could be talking about Isaiah Papali'i in the same ilk as we were when he was at the Parramatta Eels. Yeah, over the last couple of years at the Tigers, his form undoubtedly has dropped off. When he was at the Warriors, it was okay. There was signs that he could be a really good player. At the Eels, he was electric. Got Dally M second row of the year. He was unbelievable. At the Tigers, we saw him fall off a bit. At the Panthers, I think he'll rise back up. Dally M level of player, like per position that we saw at the Parramatta Eels. I think in that professional environment, in that like where he has to be held up to standards and accountability, and be accountable. He will definitely improve as a player. Interesting to see where he's going to play, whether they put him on an edge and put Scott Sorensen to the middle, or whether he's a middle, whether he's the James Fisher-Harris type replacement, whether he comes off the bench. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how they use him. But the Penrith Panthers have become one of those teams and systems where it's just, you don't even question it when they sign a player now. Like, if, for example, if he was going to a Dragons or something like that, you sort of go, oh, okay, wonder how he's going to play there, or when he went to the Tigers, that kind of thing. But when the Panthers sign someone, you know there's a pretty good reason for it, and they usually get the best out of him. For example, Dane Laurie this season when he came in for Dylan Edwards was sensational. Keeping on Panthers signings, Blaze Talagi, I'm going to give this a B. He's got so much potential. Like, you've already seen how good he can be. It's seemingly at this stage he's going to be Jerome Luai's replacement at 6. There is question marks over his defence when he's not playing at fullback or on the wing, and again, he's pretty raw, pretty young. First time he's defending against NRL level quality players, so obviously there's going to be things to work on. I don't think any player comes into the NRL perfect. I don't think any player in the NRL is perfect, so obviously these things are going to take time. He was literally in school last year. Bit of patience won't go astray with Blaze Talagi. However, he is going into a team where they've won 4 back-to-back comps, so pressure is on replacing Jerome Luai, who's the incumbent New South Wales 6. So again, pressure is on. Big shoes to fill. In a couple of years, Blaze Talagi we probably talked about as one of the best 5'8" in the comp. It's just going to take time for him to get there, and I hope that the Panthers afford him that time, let's just say. Then we'll move over to my boys, the Dragons. Shane Flanagan has got 3 very good and experienced signings, which I think is good, complements the squad. But we can go in depth with that on another video. Damien Cook to the Dragons, I'm going to give a B. It was probably one of House's better performers last year in a very, very poor year for them. His effort can never be questioned, which is something that the Dragons desperately need. However, I'm going to give it a B just solely for the fact that Jacob Little was really, really good last season. I don't know whether they sort of needed to get another similar quality level hooker. However, in saying that, it does now give the Dragons a fantastic 1-2 punch at hooker, where Jacob Little was probably wearing himself to the bone a little bit towards the end of the season there. He's probably maybe a 50-minute level player, where then you can bring Damien Cook, either you can bring Little off the bench and play 50 straight, or you can bring Damien Cook off the bench and then play him a bit in the middle as well. I'm not sure exactly what Shane Flanagan's plans are, but it seemingly Damien Cook might have spent a little bit of time as a ball playing 13, which I think will help and let the big boys have a bit more shorter, more intense stints as well. So I do think overall it's a very good signing and very good for up-and-comers and setting standards. Another fantastic signing for setting standards is Gutho to the Dragons, which I'm going to give an A. Obviously, again, there's been question marks over his health, but this is one of those ones that the Dragons culture over the last few years has definitely come into question, where this guy sets his standards. I mean, we can see from that run up Mount Kira, that 5K on his first day, where he's never even met the Dragons players before, has no idea what the fitness levels of these guys are. Says Stefano, I'll show these boys how to get up a hill, and aces it. A 22-minute, 58-second 5K is just a good time in general, let alone up an incline of Mount Kira. If you know Mount Kira, would not want to run up it, let's just say that. So I think Gutho's going to be great for the culture, and also really going to help out a guy like Tyrell Sloan. Obviously, Gutho's not the long-term plan. He's like 32 or something. His body has been pretty beaten up the last couple of years. Tyrell Sloan's still, what, 22, 23? So in a couple of years, he's 25. Great guy to learn off in Clint Gutho. And then Valentine Holmes to the Dragons, I'm going to give a B as well. Great signing, premiership winner, Queensland centre, just a point scorer. Good in terms of he can goal kick, so he's going to straight away replace Zach Lomax. As per usual with Valentine Holmes, a couple of question marks over his defence. However, he might have been playing in a defensive system that he didn't really suit, wasn't used to. Shane Flanagan, a coach that we've seen get the best out of him before, might have different systems that are more similar, more familiar, to Valentine Holmes and how he plays and how he can defend. So I think Shane Flanagan, again, will get the best out of him. No worries at all. Valentine Holmes to the Dragons is a B for me. Now, we're going to talk about Jerome Luai to the West Tigers, which is obviously an A. Four-time premiership winner, fantastic level half. We've seen him play halfback and play really well. This year without Nathan Cleary, he was fantastic. I don't think there's any question marks now over whether Jerome Luai can play with or without Nathan Cleary. He's going to really be able to stamp his authority on a team and really show that he can be the main guy. I think he sees that as a challenge in terms of getting the Tigers off the bottom. And as we've seen, Jerome Luai plays pretty well when he has a chip on his shoulder. And again, as we've spoken about a few times with these other clubs that have just been struggling over the last few years, especially the Tigers, their standards and accountability haven't been up to scratch. Jerome Luai should definitely come in and be able to implement those, working alongside Benji. It's going to be great for Lockie Galvin as well. I think this is the exact type of signing that the Tigers need to get them out of the rut. The other one as well, Terrell May to the Tigers is an A. No doubt about it for me. I think when I saw the Tigers, I was like, everything looks good apart from maybe their front row. I really had a wish they held on to Stefano, because you got Stefano, Clemmer, Royce Hunt. That's not a bad front row rotation. You also got Fanua Bole there, who's really becoming leaps and bounds, who actually rejected the Tigers to stay with, rejected the Storm to stay with the Tigers, which is massive. But again, story for a different time. Terrell May to the Tigers brings in another really top quality front rower, helping with the forwards, boosting them up. The Tigers really are starting to develop a really quite a nice side heading into 2025 and beyond. And I think, honestly, they might be scratching the surface of finals in 2025. So it's certainly something at least for the Tigers fans to look out for. Let me know if you agreed with any of these ratings, any other signings you want me to rate in the comments as well. Sorry, skipped over a few guys because I didn't want to be talking about every single signing in this video. We'll do another video later once we're closer to the season. We're going to do a tier list of all the signings. Also, Ben Hunt's obviously still available on the market, going to sign somewhere soon. So once he signs somewhere, I'll drop in the comments what I think about that one. So anyway, thank you for watching this video. Like it if you did, and subscribe for more content. I'll try and get some more consistent content out for you guys. Let's go.